Hi there, KellyLee McFrederick, broker owner of Beach Natives International Real Estate. I'm going to be talking about visas today, and we're discussing travel in the Caribbean. It's essential to understand the difference between a visa and a passport, as both do serve critical, distinct roles in international travel. We probably all know this. A passport is an official government document that certifies a person's identity and citizenship. It is required for international travel, allowing individuals to enter foreign countries legally. In the Caribbean, as in any other regions, all travelers must carry a passport when visiting another nation, regardless of their nationality. Passports typically include, of course, your personal information, the holder's name, your date of birth, your photograph, as well as an expiration date. I just updated my passport, and they really have changed. This one seems to be a lot easier to use. Everything is in a hard plastic on one page. I like it. Now, on the other hand, a visa is a document that grants permission to enter, stay in, or transit through a specific country for a designated purpose and time frame. And it was interesting, I wasn't even that aware of what a visa was until my daughter actually got into college in Fudan University in Shanghai. And I had to qualify for a 10-year visa to be able to go back and forth and visit her. And that was obviously stamped within my passport. It was a very big deal. Not all countries require a visa for entry, but many Caribbean nations do have visa requirements that are based on your nationality. The purpose of the travel, it could be for tourism, business, or study, all will have a different kind of visa. And the length of stay. For example, U.S. citizens can often visit several Caribbean destinations without a visa for short-term tourism, while travelers from other countries may need to apply for a visa before arrival. And obviously this is to do with how that Caribbean country is related to the country that you are from. What is the relationship? Is there any kind of international agreement that they would be able to travel back and forth? Or it's some of the countries, as we know, are kind of on a watch, so there is more stricter requirements about entering some of the Caribbean countries from the country that you might be from. Notably, obviously your visa requirements, as we were saying, can vary significantly between countries within the region, with some nations welcoming visitors with few restrictions, while others may have a much more stringent entry requirements. So in summary, a passport and a visa serve different complementary purposes in international travel within the Caribbean. While a passport provides identity and citizenship, the visa serves as permission to enter a specific country. Understanding these distinctions is crucial for all travelers planning a trip to this beautiful and diverse region. When traveling to the Caribbean, the type of visa can vary significantly depending on the country you are visiting and your nationality. So here's an overview of some of the different types of visas that might be needed. Obviously, we're going to start with the tourist visa. Many Caribbean nations offer tourist visas, which allow travelers to stay for a limited period, typically just for leisure purposes. Some countries, like the Dominican Republic and Cuba, may require travelers from certain countries to obtain a tourist visa in advance, while others offer visa-free entry or visas on arrival. I know this boat that I'm sitting on, my boat, we took this one to Cuba. And we really had to prepare about a year out. We had to apply for all the visas for Cuba, and that took a while. We had to go through the embassy, do the requirements, they have to stamp them, send them back. And we did it about 6 months in advance. We really had to make sure there was a time, and you had to go through a company. There was a time stamp on it, how soon you could use it, when you needed to do it. And it was a very big deal to get that visa. And we're actually cruising. We were taking some folks with us that were from England. England has a better relationship with Cuba than America does, and they were able to get their visas immediately. It was quite a difference. And then, of course, once we arrived in Cuba on the boat, the officials come on board, and they look at all your visas, your passports, everything else, make sure you're not sick, kind of look around at the boat, making sure you're not having anything hidden on the boat. It was very interesting. We did it once. That was enough. We had a great time. Cuba, different. I've been there about 3 or 4 times, and of course, it kind of depends how their economy is doing, who's president. There was a time when it was very fun to visit. We just recently did it again, just on a one-day plane trip, which they offer from Key West, which is interesting. They just take you to the highlighted sites, the downtown, the history, and they're really building that up for the tourists. And you're not allowed to buy anything that the government produces. It's only being able to purchase things from the local folks. So that's a whole different, and you have to actually apply for that in advance as well, because you have to have this certain visa just for the day trip. So that was a very interesting experience. So for your business visa, let's talk about that. That would be for individuals that are traveling to the Caribbean for business purposes. A business visa may be required. The visa typically allows entries for meeting, conferences, or negotiations. The requirements can vary based on the destination, so it's essential to verify specifics ahead of time. Now, if you're a student and if you plan to study in the Caribbean, notably in countries like Jamaica or Barbados, remember we got some great college medical universities in the Caribbean, you'll need a student visa. This visa usually requires proof of acceptance at a recognized educational institution and may have restrictions on working while studying. Now, you also have your work visa. To work legally in a Caribbean country, you will generally require a work visa. The application process can involve sponsorship by an employer in the host country and may require specific qualifications or experience. Now, we also have what we call a transit visa. Some travelers may need a transit visa if they're passing through a Caribbean country on their way to another destination, but that's only if you're in a layover, you're at an airport and you need to leave the airport. Maybe you have a big layover, 6 hours, and you're going to do a little trip out. Probably going to need a visa to come back in, be able to get your plane. Also, we have a permanent residency visa. This is something that we do talk a lot with the Caribbean. Those that are looking to live a long time in a Caribbean nation, a permanent residency visa may be necessary. The requirements for this visa are going to vary widely by the country and usually involve a thorough application process, including proof of financial stability or family ties, and maybe that you have medical insurance as well. Now, we also have a special visitor visa. Some countries may offer special visitor visas for specific purposes, like attending festivals or cultural events. These visas have their own requirements and duration of stay. It's crucial for travelers to check the specific visa requirements for their nationality and the country that they plan to visit, as regulations can really change and may be influenced by recent global events, which we know is changing by the day. And additionally, some Caribbean nations may allow visa-free entry for citizens from certain countries or provide e-visas for a more straightforward application process. I'm seeing a lot more of that. Always consult the official embassy or the consulate website of your destination for the most up-to-date and accurate information. And I wish you the safest travels and look forward to speaking with you.